Hello students, welcome to today's geography class. Today, we will be learning about a very interesting topic, endogenic processes. These are the internal forces of the earth that create and modify landforms. Endogenic processes are forces that originate inside the earth. Unlike external forces like wind and rivers, these internal forces build up the earth's surface. The major examples are earthquakes, volcanoes, folding, faulting, and mountain building.
May I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Do endogenic forces always destroy land?
Good question. No, not always. Sometimes they create new landforms like mountains or volcanic islands. But they can also be destructive, like in earthquakes. Now let's talk about earthquakes. An earthquake is a sudden vibration or shaking of the Earth's surface caused by the release of energy inside the crust. The place inside the Earth where this energy is released is called the focus or hypocenter. The point on the surface just above it is called the epicenter. The energy travels in the form of seismic waves. P waves are primary, fastest, and travel through solids and liquids. S waves are secondary, slower, and travel only through solids. L waves are surface waves and cause the maximum damage. We measure earthquakes using two scales. Richter scale tells us the magnitude. Mercalli scale tells us the intensity or damage caused. Causes include plate movements, volcanic activity, and faulting. Effects: destruction of property, tsunamis, landslides, and sometimes even change in river courses. Next, volcanoes. A volcano is an opening in the Earth's crust through which molten rock, gases, and ash erupt. A magma chamber is the underground source where molten rock collects beneath the Earth. The vent is the pipe-like passage through which magma rises to the surface. At the top, the crater forms the mouth of the volcano, where lava, ash, and gases are released during an eruption. Types of volcanoes are shield volcanoes with gentle slopes like Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Composite volcanoes alternating layers of lava and ash like Mount Fuji in Japan. Cinder cones small and steep made of ash and cinders. Caldera, a huge depression formed after a violent eruption. Volcanoes are not found everywhere. They mainly occur in belts: the Circum-Pacific Belt or Ring of Fire, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and the Mediterranean Belt.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Why are so many volcanoes found in the Ring of Fire?
Excellent. Because that region has many tectonic plate boundaries where subduction and movement of plates trigger frequent volcanic activity. Now, folding and faulting. When rocks bend due to compressional forces, we call it folding. Types include simple folds, anticlines, synclines, overthrust, and recumbent folds. The mighty Himalayas are a result of folding. On the other hand, when rocks crack and there is displacement, we call it faulting. Normal fault occurs due to tension. Reverse fault occurs due to compression. Strike-slip fault is horizontal movement, like the famous San Andreas Fault in the USA. Finally, mountains, the most visible result of endogenic processes. Types are: fold mountains are formed when rock layers bend and fold under the compressional forces of colliding tectonic plates. Instead of breaking, the crust is pushed upward into high ranges. Famous examples are the Himalayas in Asia and the Alps in Europe. These mountains are rich in rivers, fertile valleys, and natural resources. Block mountains are formed when large blocks of the Earth's crust are uplifted, lowered, or tilted between parallel faults due to tectonic forces. The uplifted blocks are called hosts, and the lowered blocks are known as grabens. Famous examples include the Vosges in France and the Black Forest in Germany. These mountains are significant for their mineral resources, forests, and scenic landscapes. Volcanic mountains are formed by the accumulation of lava, ash, and other volcanic materials after repeated eruptions. Over time, these layers build up to create high peaks. A well-known example is Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. Such mountains are important as they provide fertile soils, minerals, and geothermal energy. Residual mountains are the remnants of old mountains that have been worn down by continuous weathering and erosion. Softer rocks are removed, leaving behind hard and resistant peaks. A famous example is the Aravalli Hills in India. These mountains represent ancient geological history and often contain valuable minerals. So students, endogenic processes are powerful forces shaping our planet, creating mountains, volcanoes, earthquakes, and faults. Some processes are constructive, while others can be destructive. That's all for today's class. Keep revising and remember, geography is not about memorizing, it's about understanding the earth. Jai Hind.